Hope everyone is having a great Monday so far. Thanks for joining us here in the American Digital Network studio. I'm Hali Oughton here alongside Mike O'Donnell via Skype. We welcome you to an all-new edition of Mondays with Mike, and there's a whole lot to talk about today. Mike, let's start off by talking about the marquee conference matchup of the year. Took place Sunday afternoon in Moody Coliseum as two top 25 teams in SMU and Cincinnati squared off for the top spot in the American standings. Last night, there was no question that Moody brought the magic. It was an electric atmosphere. What were some of your takeaways from watching this key game down the stretch?
My first takeaway is that I was so disappointed I wasn't at that game. I would have paid a lot of money to see that matchup. Moody Coliseum broke an attendance record for that game, and even on TV, it just felt and sounded electric. What a fun atmosphere. But SMU got the win because of their defense and their ability to share the ball in the half court. In the second half, they went on a 15-0 run to really push Cincinnati out of arm's reach. Cincinnati could not score. In fact, the last 4 minutes of the game, they did not have one single field goal, and Troy Copain didn't have a point in the entire second half, and that can't happen if you're Cincinnati. But SMU's three-point shooting was outstanding. Their ability to share the ball was phenomenal. They did everything right in the second half, and really at the end of the day, it comes down to defense. And Coach Jankovic even called their half-court defense the Iron Curtain. I can't wait for a potential additional matchup of these two teams maybe in the conference tournament, because that is going to be an absolute brawl.
Yeah, one of the players that stepped up last night was Shemi Ojeleye, named the American Player of the Week earlier today. How much has he made his presence known this season?
Well, the junior Duke transfer has been unbelievable. In fact, Seth Davis last night, renowned college basketball analyst for CBS Sports, called him the best player in the American by far. And that's high praise from a guy like that, but he deserves it. Ojeleye is getting about 18 points per game, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. He's 6'4", 235. He looks like a linebacker, but moves like a wide receiver. Coach Jankovic calls him one of the hardest workers on the team, and it's obvious that A, he never skips a meal, and B, he never skips shoulder day in the weight room, because that guy is yoked. But I love his ability to cause mismatch problems in the half court, and a lot of that is due to SMU's offense. Their ability to share the basketball and really get the defense shifting has proven to be a better offensive system for Ojeleye to shine in.
Yeah, SMU is in great position in the conference standings, especially heading into the conference tournament here in a couple of weeks. But moving on, another team that is looking to head into the conference tournament in great position is Houston. Big opportunity for the Cougars this week. In fact, on Saturday, they host SMU. They're on a 5-game winning streak of their own, but nobody really seems to be talking about Kelvin Sampson's group. Mike, do you think they could be NCAA tournament bound?
Yeah, flying under the radar. Actually, I've been hearing a lot of the national pundits talk about Houston more and more after this 5-game winning streak, really because of their ability to score. They have 5 guys on the court that can score in double figures any game, and they have the best scorer in the conference in Rob Gray Jr. They're really missing that signature RPI win. They do have one top 50 RPI win over Rhode Island, who's 40th in the RPI, so that's one good win, but they really need one more, and they're a top 60 RPI team as it stands right now, but they're going to be tested coming down the pipe here. They have some really, really tough games. They play SMU, UConn, Memphis, and Cincinnati in their next 4 games. So you want opportunities if you're a Houston Cougar fan, you've got them coming up here in the next few games.
Yeah, no question. And outside of Houston, how does the middle of the conference shake out? It seems like some important games this week could start to settle some of it.
Yeah, the middle of the conference is absolutely crazy right now. It feels like it's going teetering every which way each game. And so if you look at the standings right now, you have number 4 Memphis, number 5 UConn, number 6 Tulsa, and number 7 UCF. To kind of round out behind Houston, who's currently sitting at 3rd behind SMU and Cincinnati. Those are all going to be teams that are going to be fighting for that 5th place, that 4th and 5th place spot, and all 4 of those teams have a shot to make it. They're talented enough to fight for that 4th and 5th spot. I don't really see anybody else really challenging that 4th and 5th bye in the American Conference tournament other than those four teams, Memphis, UConn, Tulsa, and UCF. There's some key games that are going to determine this lineup here in this coming week, which includes Tulsa at UCF. And Tulsa has dropped 4 games in a row, so they are really fighting for that 5th place finish in that bye in the conference tournament. UCF is a streaky team, but when they're hot, they can beat anybody in the conference. Then you have number 4 Memphis versus number 5 UConn at UConn. UConn playing well at the right time, and they're starting to hit outside shots with Purvis and Adams playing the best ball of the year in the last 2 or 3 games. And for Memphis, it's all about defense. They don't have a problem scoring. They just need to learn how to lock it up in the half court. And then that third game, again, I go back to UConn again, who's really kind of controlling their own destiny. After Memphis, they play at Temple. This is a trap game for the Huskies. Temple sitting at 8th place right behind UCF in 7th. And Temple just is coming off a week where they beat Memphis. That's actually twice in the same year that Temple has beaten Memphis. And they're starting to put the pieces together offensively and defensively. And Haley, you and I know you can never discount a Fran Dunphy coach team.
Absolutely. And Mike, we've witnessed some really great team performances. Fran Dunphy, like you mentioned, starting to get his team rolling here in the later half of the season. But there's also been quite the variety of standout players all over the floor. If you had to pick an early all-conference team, who in your mind has really impressed you this season?
Well, it is early, so that could change. But right now I'm going with Ojeleye at SMU, Washington at Cincinnati, Dedrick Lawson of Memphis, Rob Gray Jr. of Houston, and a little bit of a dark horse pick. I love Cameron Reynolds of Tulane. I think he is an outstanding player and a mismatch nightmare for teams. He's currently at double-figure scoring, and he also has the ability to take you in the post and a lights-out three-point shooter. I am a big fan of Cameron Reynolds at Tulane.
All right, and then we had to make you wait till the very end of the show for your favorite part. I know you've been waiting all week to do it. Mike, who is your glue guy of the week, somebody who really made a difference that maybe we didn't see coming?
It has to be Ben Emelogu of SMU. He is an outstanding glue guy and a great pick for my glue guy of the week. He was awesome in the game against Cincinnati. Not only was he the only bench player to score points, he had 11 points. First time in double figures in a few games. He averages about 21 minutes per game. But he was the only bench player to play in that game. That's how vital he is to this SMU team. He's strong, he's physical, can guard multiple positions, and any guy that can guard multiple positions means you have to have some grit and toughness to you, which is why he gets my glue guy of the week.
Yeah, Mike, that's a great pick. He had a huge performance for SMU off the bench last night. But another team that we're really looking forward to watching is tonight as UConn hosts South Carolina. They're going for their 100th straight win. Haven't lost since 2014 on the road at Stanford. Mike, just being a former athlete, can you even fathom winning 100 straight games?
No, because I was ecstatic when we got 3-4 games in a row, let alone 100. It's really easy to say right now that UConn women's basketball is a dynasty. I think it's easy for people to say that. The perception is out there that's real. But I don't think I can really even put into context how incredible a job that Coach Ariema has done. I mean, he has put together one of the greatest coaching resumes of all time, not just women's basketball, not just basketball, but of all sports. It is absolutely spectacular, the culture that he has created there, where practices are harder than the games, and he can make you feel like you haven't played in a game in your life and you're playing for the national championship, and you could be 30-0 and he can make you feel like you're 0-30, but that means the games are that much easier. I just can't even begin to fathom how incredible of a job he has done. And in 30, 40 years, when we look back on this moment, it is going to be one of the greatest moments in the history of sports, not just basketball.
Yeah, definitely a testament to what a great coach he is. I mean, it was just a few months ago that we were in Philadelphia talking to him at Basketball Media Day, and he seemed certain that they were going to lose one of those preseason games.
Yeah. I was nervous asking him questions because he's just a living legend. He really is. And it's not about just women's basketball anymore. I mean, he is one of the greatest coaches of all time in any sport. And he told us, he says, I'm not sure how good we're going to be this year. We might drop 1 or 2 games. And people who say that coaching doesn't matter when you get up to big time sports have no idea what they're talking about, because UConn has incredible players. Their women are so fundamentally sound and so skilled. But what Coach Ariema can do, mold them into a team that just doesn't lose, is truly unfathomable.
Yeah, it's been an exciting journey to watch and to witness, and without question, the country will be tuning in tonight to see if Geno Auriemma and the UConn Huskies can hit 100 straight. That one tips off at 9 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. I know Mike and myself will be watching it, but we look forward to another great week of basketball ahead, and of course, we'll be back here with you next Monday. Thanks for tuning in to an all-new episode of Mondays with Mike. We'll see you then.